Hi guys, welcome back to the Cake Later podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Death Pigeon. Um, it's a very interesting band name. I love it though. It's so I don't want to call it cute, but it's awesome. If you haven't, please go follow me on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Go follow them on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and other socials. Tune in Tuesdays for band of the week, Wednesdays for playlist of the week, and Saturdays for interviews. And I am sending them the link now. Okay. Oops. Okay. There we go. Where is it? Oh, there they are. Awesome. Link sent. All right, I will be back with them. There we go. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Yeah, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it.
I like your accent.
Thank you very much. It's probably a little bit different to what you're used to, right?
Yeah. Where are you from?
Wales.
Wales. Oh my God.
Yeah, living in England currently, but yeah, Wales is where I'm from.
I'm going to London next summer for a study abroad thing.
Are you?
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
That's amazing. Is that your first time?
Yes.
Really?
I'm in the process of getting my passport right now because I've always heard it's good to do it early.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got to apply to, is it an American passport or have you got to apply? Oh, yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to have a visa then to come over to London?
I don't, I'm not sure. They're gonna send out like all that information like as it gets closer. So,
Nice.
because
Excellent.
yeah, because they have to tell us about because there's like scholarships for studying abroad. So they
Yeah.
send
How
us all
long?
that.
That's amazing. How long are
Oh,
you going to be over here?
I think it's only a 2 week thing.
Is it?
Yeah. But I know we
There's
get
a
the
lot to see.
weekends. Yeah, we get the weekends to explore. I know that because during the week we're supposed to attend like this class seminar thing. So,
All right.
oh yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
I hope it goes well. So it
I do
sounds
too.
excellent.
Oh yeah. Get like a credit and a half for 2 weeks.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
It's
And you get a little mini holiday as well, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna take the train to Scotland.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's about I think it's a 7 hour train ride, I think.
Yeah.
It's quite long. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gonna leave in the morning.
And they do sleeper trains as well. You can sleep there. So you can sleep on the way up and then
Yeah,
wake up.
sleeper cars. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Excellent
Okay.
stuff. I hope you have a great time.
I do too. You want to introduce yourself? I forgot to do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is JD, and I'm 50% of Death Pigeon.
Who's the other 50%?
The other 50% is Neil Berry. Unfortunately, he can't be with us today. But yeah, it's only a two-man band currently.
Woohoo! Could you tell me like the history of how you two decided to become Death Pigeon?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So in 2019 or 2018, I changed jobs and started working in a new place. And basically, I think out of all of us, the only people that you'd actually visibly see that were metalheads is basically myself and Neil. And Neil was already working there, and I joined as an IT manager, and we just started talking. And a lot of the bands that I liked, he liked, and we ascertained that he played instruments, I played instruments, so we were like, oh, let's get together and have a chat, and that's Death Pigeon. That's basically how we started. It was just the love of music and playing music.
So
Essentially,
you guys like clicked right away? pretty much.
Actually, yeah, absolutely. It was. I suppose you look back, and it was kind of weird. We just kind of just started talking, and it was like as if we'd always been friends. It was,
Oh,
it
those are
was
the
kind
best
of,
types of friendships, though.
yeah,
So you,
absolutely.
yeah, you said you had a similar taste in music. So does that would you say that like helps or hinders the way you guys like write your own music?
Well, I write the music, so I guess that's a good question. That's weird. I've never thought of that. Um, I guess I guess I write what I want to hear, and Neil never says no. I guess that's how it goes. I think a lot of the bands that I like and a lot of the bands that Neil likes, I'm aware of. So I think I try and work some of those influences into the music.
So like just
But I
being
also,
conscious.
yeah, I guess so. I also understand the parts of the music that he doesn't like, so I make sure not to tread the lines and go that
Like
way.
music theory.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's really interesting. I've never thought about it that way. It's really interesting that you asked that. I think that's amazing. Yeah. No, it certainly, I suppose it hinders and helps. I think that's
Yeah.
a 50-50 thing in music.
But do you guys ever have like, like I don't want to say disagreements, but more like different ideas for what a song should turn out to be?
Um, again, it's another great question. I've never thought about it like this either. This is, um, I suppose, because I write the stories, the short stories behind the music, and then I have an idea of what the music is going to sound like based on each chapter, based on each song. I guess when I give everything to Neil, he has my recorded bass. I've already planned out the lyrics in my head and written down something anyway. We've got the story to reflect back on. And
Yeah.
what I give him is the rest of the music with MIDI, and then in MIDI rather. And then he'll tidy it all up and then kind of add in his guitar parts, his rhythm, his lead. I guess I don't know how to answer that. That's fascinating. That's brilliant. That I think I don't know. That's going to make me think for hours. That is.
You just like text me the answer later then.
Okay, I'll just drop you a text and be like, "Yes, I got the answer. That's it."
So the name Death Pigeon,
Yeah.
when I first heard that, I thought honestly it would be like similar to Death Beak, where they've got a bird singing.
Yeah.
So where did you come up with the name Death Pigeon?
we we both got good sense of humor. Well, at least we think so. Probably we haven't. I don't know if anybody else would agree,
Yeah.
but we wanted it to be a little bit comical, something that wouldn't necessarily draw you in, but something that wouldn't make you think that the band would be a parody. You know. So I think it's both ridiculous and quite fun at the same time, but without it being, I think, there's a little bit of comic value in it, of course there is, but
Yeah.
without it being totally silly, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, like the different vibe the name gives off and like the like cute little style it is in and like the music. It's like when you listen to the music, you're like, I would not have expected that.
So how do you see the name in your head then?
I don't know. I honestly like Death Beak, I heard of with the bird
Yeah.
singing. And so when I heard Death Pigeon, I was like, I wonder if they have a pigeon singing. And so like that was originally why I listened to it because I was like, huh. And then I listened to it and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, definitely not a pigeon.
So it was kind of just like I like, oh, oh, like I like it, but at the same time, I was like the different vibe the name gives off and the music.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. It was. I feel like that's how you can create a good fan base.
Thank you.
Drawing them in with like something completely unexpected, and then they're hooked on the music. So you're like, that was totally unexpected.
That's amazing to hear that. Thank you ever so much. I think it works for sort of metal, for dance. I mean, you've got all these different animals that have been used in band names for years, haven't they? For decades. And I suppose, yeah, do you know, again, I haven't thought about it, but I think you really are opening my eyes. This has only been talking for 10 minutes. Again, I think it does. It allows the sort of the band to go either way, doesn't it? If we
Yeah.
go a little bit less metally, not that we
If we
got
go to
anything
like
planned,
pop.
it would still sort of work, wouldn't it? He's still
Yeah.
got that sort of, yeah, that's interesting.
If you went to
Wow.
pop and was called Death Pigeon, everyone would be like, "What? This does not fit." Were there any like other names you guys were like thinking about before settling on Death Pigeon?
Yeah, there were loads. Again, mostly with animals included. I don't know why. I think we both liked that vibe. I think there was Octopus Driver, I think was one of them.
I would
Um,
love to listen to a band called Octopus Drive.
there was a load of really, really sort of off the wall ones. There were a lot with the word Raven in it. And then I had a look at just how many bands and how many metal acts and rock acts are.
Yeah, I feel like Raven is like it's like very tied to the metal scene, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think like I mean when I think pigeon, I think government spy first, but I also my mind does not immediately go to metal. It goes to like I don't know, something like funny, like comical songs. Like
Yeah,
Weird
yeah.
Al Yankovic.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do love a bit of Weird Al. Bless him. I mean, what a fantastic career that man has had.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think there were so many. There were a few badgers in there, foxes. We just tried to be, and some of them were totally obscure. But I mean, I think we both landed on Death Pigeon. I remember it was during the pandemic. I bought a guitar of him, and he brought the guitar over to me,
Yeah.
but we couldn't see each other. We couldn't be in the presence of each other. So he was standing on the road, I was standing in my doorway, and we were just
Yeah.
yelling back and forth. And I think we said something like Death Pigeon or something, that sort of led us to Death Pigeon. And we
Yeah.
both just couldn't stop laughing. So it sort of came from there, yeah.
Have you guys ever thought about putting like a pigeon on the merch? Like a pigeon like holding up devil horns or something?
We've got a little pigeon, a little cybernetic pigeon that is on Spotify.
I love that.
And I want to do something. I want to get a model of him because I really love him. He's really sweet. He's really small, cute, but he's got wires
Yes.
and I love him. I think he's lovely. But I do want to make little models of him that when you push his head down, he just screams at you.
I meant more like you know how like chickens they have that like little thing you can buy where it gives them like T-Rex arms.
Yeah,
Like get a pigeon and put one on that's like holding up like devil horns or something. And then take
that would be great. Two little arms up. Yeah.
yeah. And it's funny because pigeons are so tiny and fat. It'd just be so cute.
Oh, that would be really sweet. There's a guy that races pigeons across the road. Actually, I can go
Racist
over the house every
pigeons.
single day. I could use some of his.
Racist
Sorry.
pigeons. Racist pigeons?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Racist them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's a British thing. I don't know. But it's. I know we've done it for years. Yeah, yeah. You keep pigeons and then you race them. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
what?
Yeah, honestly.
I've heard
Yeah,
of
yeah.
racing horses.
Yeah, yeah. Racing horses, but yeah,
I've
and pigeons
never,
too.
maybe like racing chickens if you're like weird like that, but racing pigeons.
Yeah, racing pigeons. Yeah, yeah.
You should just like do a music video of just pigeons racing and put a song over it.
I just do that. I could again use him.
I've never heard of racing pigeons. I've heard the rumor that pigeons are government spies, but that's as far as that's gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, isn't there? I've heard that as well. Again, interests me. Yeah,
For
really
the
does.
longest time, I did not think pigeons were real. I really didn't. I had never
Really?
seen a pigeon, and then I moved here to Illinois, and like the first time I saw a pigeon, I was like, "Is that a pigeon? What?"
Really? You've never seen a
Yeah,
pigeon until
I
you
had
moved to
never seen a
Illinois?
pigeon before I moved here. And I was like, "What?" And then the other day, I saw a very thin pigeon, and
Yeah.
like up until that point, I had never seen a pigeon that wasn't fat. So I was like, "Geez." Blowing my mind right now. What would you say influences your music the most? Would it be like outside influences, or is it like other bands that you listen to and are like, Oh, that's a creative way to do things.
A lot of the bands I listen to, I suppose I always wanted in a way to sort of, I suppose, use their sound in some ways. I don't think I ever wanted to sound like anybody really. I just wanted to sound like us.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that sounded like, if that makes any sense. So when Neil and I started sort of putting music down and sort of started pushing the band one way, I remember I kept on saying to him, "Is this what we're meant to sound like? Is this what we're going to sound like? This doesn't sound like anything. Does it sound
Yeah.
like us?" And he kept on saying to me, "Just shut up. It's okay. It's going to turn out like it turns out." And
Yeah.
yeah, I it's bizarre how you can put something together to begin with, and then eventually when it finishes, it sounds like it sounds.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, like, there's also like a lot of artists typically like they could draw the like most amazing thing, and like to the outside eye everyone's like, oh my god, that is like the prettiest thing ever, but to them they're like, there's this wrong with it, there's that wrong with it, like
yeah, yeah.
colors are off. So I think it's just, I think it's more perspective. Like you could listen to your own music every day and be like, I don't like it, doesn't sound right, and then everyone else out in the world is just like, this is the best song ever. Like it's just, I feel like it's mostly based on perspective. So
Absolutely is. I think it's I do I there aren't there aren't very many sayings I like, but I do like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And I
yes.
think that works with art, and I think especially works with music. And even though
Oh
it might not be beauty you can see, it is definitely beauty you can hear.
yeah, because I was talking to another band earlier, and we were talking about the fact that like leaving music or words up to interpretation, like
Mhm.
it just adds to the music, because if you like put out the message like, oh, this is what this is about, people like automatically won't relate to it as much,
Yeah.
because they're listening to it with the intended message
Mhm.
instead of the way they want to interpret it, and it just kind of like ruins the magic of it.
Suppose it can do slightly. It depends. I think even though with the bands that have got a bit like a story tied to it, I've still drawn my own interpretation up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that it's a very interesting way of thinking, because I think if
Yeah.
you have got a story like we have, then obviously there's a story there. But if you, like
Yes.
a load of people have thought that food will stretch the flesh is about a diet. So, it depends on how you interpret it, right? It depends on how
Yeah.
you sort of take it.
Just
A lot of people
depends on
think
the
it's
way
quite
you
comical.
listen to it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I think that's the beauty of it, though, as well.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Because like I was comparing it to like how when you take an English class and you read like, I know there was the one year we read my favorite book and we got into all the messages about it, and like
Mhm.
immediately afterward I was like, I hate this book, I can never read it again.
What is your favorite book, or what was your favorite book?
It's called I'll Give You the Sun. My
Okay.
sis yeah, my sister and I read it together, and we went over it in class, and then I was immediately like, I don't think I could ever read this book the same way, because it just,
Mm.
I don't like it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it has spoiled. So knowing all these alternative meanings about that book, then and everything
Yeah.
behind that
And
has ruined it for you.
it was like also a book that it was written to open your mind.
Mhm.
And because it was about like, a kid growing up gay and like discovering himself. And like our teacher immediately went into like all the things wrong about it. And I was
Right.
like, you're not gay.
Mhm.
You can't talk about that. Like, that's not your story to tell. So
Exactly.
I was just like, I can't do
Done with
it.
that now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah. I like I like your cover art. Do you guys like, do you have someone draw that for you? Do you draw it for yourselves?
Volume one is an infrared photo I took
Yeah.
in a park not far from here in Bristol, in England. And the second one is half drawn by me, half drawn by AI. Unfortunately, I had an artist that was going to draw it up, and started to, and then learned that it was going to be used as an album,
Yeah.
and then inflated the price well out of what I could afford. So we just told him to leave it there.
Yeah.
But I am, for the new releases, which are coming up very very soon. I am going to be the
Soon,
artist.
as in like more than 6 months or less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
I like that.
Yeah, new stuff coming.
I love new music. It's always like the thing I look forward to
Yeah, yeah,
and get you through the day. You're like, there's a song
absolutely.
tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think I've ever worked with an artist before. Like I want to do cake lady shirts. But
Oh,
my
nice.
sister's an artist and she all the time is just like, I'll draw it for free. Like you don't have to pay me. And I'm like, yes, because I don't have money. And she was just like, just give me like
It
20
is.
bucks. So like I
It's
think,
such a cool thing to have an
right?
artist.
Especially one that
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
supports you too, because like I don't think
Yes.
like I had a guy, he tried to make a deal with me to where if I interviewed his friend's band, he would
Mhm.
do like graphic design for me. And
Right.
like his friend's band broke up and
Mhm.
then he immediately tried to switch it to I hired him.
Mhm.
And I was like, I didn't hire you. You made the deal. Um, and he was like trying to rebrand everything. And I was like, no, I have a name, I have a design, I have an idea, and I'm not gonna change it. I didn't hire you. You made a deal with me. Your friend's
Yeah.
band broke up. I'm not interviewing them anymore. So I'm just not continuing with this deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Things like that can turn a little bit strange.
Yeah. Like
Especially, yeah,
you try to make
at different circumstances,
connections.
but I know exactly how you would have felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you try to make connections
Yes.
with people and then they turn it to immediately trying to take advantage of you. Could no. Like I've heard
Yeah.
horror
I don't
stories
like
of
that
like
at all.
people in bands doing stuff like that. And I'm like, I
Mm.
like music. I don't think I could ever be in a band because of politics of it.
I think it's whether or not you're drawn into the politics a lot of the time. I
Oh
tend
yeah.
to stay away from a lot of that. I love music, and music has shaped me and my life. And I
Yeah.
don't think
It's good to have
I
someone you
just,
have so much chemistry with to do music with because
yes,
like there's
it's
less
honestly, it's
yeah,
like
there's
working with a brother, even though we're not related. It
yeah,
genuinely is. It genuinely is.
yeah,
There's that
there's
much love there.
less
It's brilliant.
drama about it
Mhm.
because you're working with someone who like same ideas,
Yes,
same creative process. Like if I wanted to do music tomorrow, I could just like call up my sister because she's like the only person I would do music with.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. I suppose I really wanted to use an artist from Bristol because I don't know if you know anything about Bristol, but it's known for its graffiti, its street art, giant murals, people just draw on walls, and
I will
Banksy is
have to
from
check
here.
that out next year. I love
And
murals.
and I thought it'd be great to have somebody, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But I'm going to be the artist from now on. I've got myself
Yeah.
I'll kitted myself up. I'm going to do some abstract stuff and just go
Yeah.
with it and see what people see in the art.
That's awesome. And I like the stories behind the songs. I just like when artists do that because
Mm,
I don't know. I like looking into lore of things. And so like
yeah,
when it's just a song, it's just like it's a good song, but like where's the interesting part? Especially
that's
like for
it.
albums. Like
Yeah,
it's always nice when it tells a story. Like I did an interview with Graythorn and
I've just been
he
listening to that one.
that's awesome. Yeah, he writes stories behind all his songs too.
That's right.
And they're interesting and it I
Mm,
like it adds to like the appeal.
yes.
Cause I don't then I don't have to go looking for books to listen to either. Yeah. It's just like the opposite. Like there's books I read where they put the
Mhm.
playlist that they listened to while they wrote the book,
Yeah,
and like you listen to the songs while you read the book. It just adds to the experience. I like when
it
art
does.
mixes like that.
Yeah, it is lovely doing that. I think that's what we've had a lot of people saying about Volume Two. If they've bought the hard copy and they've bought the album and they've listened to it, some people have paused it and said, "I've just read up about it after I've listened to it." Some people have
Yeah.
read first and then listened. But yeah, I don't. I remember my old art teacher in school. I mean, we're going back over 35 years. Was he would say, you know, you can't mix art. Art is art. If you're drawing, you're an artist. If you're a musician, you're playing music. You can't mix the two. We're mixing everything. We're mixing writing with music, with art, with drawing. You know, we're mixing a lot. And I think you should. I think you should. You should
Yeah,
mix
I think
everything.
it's a good process because also like most people who are interested in artistic processes always have more than one interest in it.
Mhm.
So like I like books and music. My sister likes art and music. And so like mixing those just like allows you to be more creative in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely does. It does. It gets, I hate this term, but it does get the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
And once you start, it's very difficult to stop. And then you want to do something else. And you get more ideas from that too. It
Yeah.
makes you, I think, a better artist.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Plus it gives you like more experience in how like to work out like the process of it.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Like should I do the story first or should I do the song first and like vice
Absolutely
versa.
does. Yeah, yeah,
Figure that out.
yeah.
I don't know. You said less than 6 months, right?
Less than 6 months. I can give you, if you want, I can give you all the juicy details. I have told nobody else.
Well, you could do it like in text if you don't want it in the interview.
Yeah, I'll do it in the interview. Absolutely fine. Yeah,
In the
absolutely
interview?
fine. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'd
Yeah,
love the
yeah, yeah.
juicy
Go for it.
details. I like that.
So we had, let's just go back a little bit so we can just
Okay.
fill up everything. So volume 2 came out February this year.
Yes.
Volume 2A, the instrumentals, came out July the 3rd.
Yes.
September the 3rd, volume 2B comes out, which is the
Ooh.
worldwide remixes of all the songs. So they're remixed in
Ooh.
EDM, dubstep, jungle, drum and bass. Um, so that's coming out the 3rd of September. Then that's it for volume 2. That's done then. I'm satisfied. Yeah. I'm going to do nothing more with it.
I'm sure. We could do
I'm
like
sure.
a folk version.
I'm done. We're okay. Then volume 3, the first single comes off. Volume 3 is our experimental EP. So I'm only writing short stories for the albums. The EPs, we're just doing whatever the hell we want to and seeing how it turns out. And the first song from volume 3 is coming on Halloween, October 31st.
Ooh.
And that's going to be entirely in my native language of Welsh. It's going to sound like a continuation of volume 2, but it's going to be different. And then every other single, hopefully, is going to come out a few months after that. I've finished writing the story for volume 4 already.
Ooh.
I'm going to work on the music of that early next year, hopefully with a release then next year for that.
So like it's going to be like a constant like set of releases then, basically.
For the next 12 months, I think so, because I want to get a good body of work behind us, because in 2025, we're starting to gig. And I want to go out there with a lot of, or not with a lot per se, we'll only have volume 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. But I want to go out there with enough music. So if somebody says, can you fill an hour? We can say yes. You know? Yeah. And then I want to go ahead and do that. So yeah, we've got
I mean, with a steady set of releases and gigs coming up, I mean, you should be able to build a pretty good following then.
I hope so. I mean, so far it's been fantastic, and thanks to people like yourself who wanted to speak to us, and you know, it's all helping. So yeah, massive thank you to yourself.
Oh, yeah. I just like talking to people about the industry.
Yeah,
like
I think it's fascinating. You make cakes for metal bands too, right?
I do. I like to give them free cakes because you know it gets the conversation going.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's like you know they're always so appreciative because they're like, oh my god, free food.
It's cake, right? Everyone loves cake.
Exactly. I mean, like, considering how most gigs are at bars nowadays, like, they're drinking so much on an empty stomach. And I'm like, here's a big plate of carbs, okay?
Nice. That's such a unique idea, too. I've never heard of somebody doing that. And I think if I'm correct in saying so, I was reading that you do it free of charge, too.
I do it for my what?
You do it free of charge. You don't charge anybody. I mean, that is such a lovely thing to do, genuinely.
Yeah, because like, I mean, when I first did it, it was originally I wanted to do it for my favorite bands when they reached like a milestone. And then I was like singling out specific bands and not doing more like other bands. I didn't see that as fair because I'm like, you know, I listen to music, new artists every day, new music every day. And like, then I was like, I just don't think that's fair. So I was like, I started to branch out because, you know, I was like, I like to bake. I'm not a good baker, but I like to bake. But I don't like cake. So I won't eat it. It's not my favorite thing in the world. So I was like, I can bake and then I can give people these cakes and then I don't have to eat them, and I can still show all these amazing artists the appreciation they deserve, because most of them aren't getting the recognition they deserve, especially if they're like an opening act. I just I don't know, it makes me like unreasonably angry that like all these terrible like artists on TikTok are just blowing up for like dancing, and then like all these other people are just like kind of down the drain pipe.
It's such a wonderfully beautiful thing that you do,
Yeah.
because in this world of people just saying, "Oh, give me money," everything's
Yeah.
always a transaction. Just being
Yeah.
given something like the love of a cake or something, however silly that may sound, I
Yeah,
genuinely
and
mean
I
it.
don't
Just
I
be,
don't
it's
even
such a
ask for
nice thing.
like I don't even ask for like free stuff either. Like I'm like I will buy the ticket, I will pay for the gas to get there, I will show up. I might even buy some merch if
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
the money, but like I don't expect to be treated any differently than a fan just
Mhm.
because I'm showing up with something for the artist.
That's lovely. That's
Yeah.
really is a lovely
Like if
thing
I'm a
that is,
fan,
yeah.
I'm going to be a fan. I'm going to support the artist. It just makes more sense to
Yeah,
me.
that's lovely.
Okay, I think I have two more questions. Oh no, what happened to my internet? Is it back? Hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi. Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, my internet went out. I really hope it saved that recording. I really hope it saved the other recording now.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. If it doesn't, I will message you and I guess we'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm free tomorrow. No problem at all.
Because now I'm like kind of worried. Okay, I have two more questions that I ask
Sure.
everyone. Yeah. I love that it did that right as I'm like ending the interview too. Okay. If you could open or headline a show, and you could have any living band that you wanted in that lineup, who would you want in that lineup?
You know, I think I've got to go with. I'm trying not to go with what Gravethorn said. They said Varkan, and I'm very much trying not to go with that and everything. Oh, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to go with something different. I'm going to go Varkan. As amazing as it is, I would love to just be a part of Bloodstock or Download over here in the UK. Who would I like in it? Well, I've got to bring the indie community with me for a start, right? So let's go through some indie bands, right? So I want
Yeah.
Anger Overdose, definitely. Shovel Monster, Encircle Throne. Guess what, guys? You're all with me. Let's go with Superposition as well. Got to have some Superposition. We're all
Yes.
different bands. We're all sounding different. Now, sorry if I missed it. Oh, Agbat as well. Agbat, you're coming with us. Sorry if I missed anybody out. No disrespect. But then I think if I can bring people back from the dead, and I'm going to say that because Gravethorn did, and I want Peter Steele with Type O Negative.
Yes.
I absolutely adore that band. I want Cradle of Filth. Definitely Lemmy with Motorhead. I saw them in Swansea when they played Singleton Park.
I just
do you know what?
did an
Brilliant.
interview with Encircled Throne, and I know I have an interview coming up with Anger Overdose, so we could probably set up that show. Maybe.
Let's get it done. I'm happy to come to America. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I think that would be it. Yeah. Definitely a good show there. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It would be so fun. And then last question. And we just talked about the cake deliveries. So if I did a cake delivery for y'all at some point, what flavor of cake would you like?
Oh, do you know what? I haven't even got to think. I'm not sure what cake Neil would like. I'm sorry, Neil. You're going to go with my choice. For me, 100%, it has to be Madeira cake.
A what?
Madeira cake.
Madeira cake.
Yeah, it's a very basic cake. It's basically butter and flour.
Oh,
with a little bit of vanilla.
Yes,
you know?
I use that recipe for my I use that recipe for cookies, so I could totally make
Lovely.
that.
Yeah, so yeah, Madeira cake with lots of icing because John likes a lot of icing.
You know what kind of icing he likes? Is you like
Just very
buttercream,
plain.
whipped
But oh,
cream?
do you know buttercream? Good God. Yes, that in spades. I will eat. I'll eat that out of the tub.
Carb heavy. You're ready for your
Yeah,
show.
totally. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been very kind. Thank you. It's been lovely.
And then I am going to pick a song and put it at the end of this. I'm not sure what song yet. So I'll figure that out.
That's fine. Absolutely fine with me. Yeah, any song you
So
like. Thank you.
have a good day or night. I'm not sure what time it is there.
It's I don't know, the last on 20 to 7 in the evening. Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
in
it.
the evening. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's still noon here. So
Well, thanks ever
ooh,
so much for having me.
thank you for being here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, 7 hours. It's been lovely. Yeah, had
Yeah.
a wonderful time. Thanks ever so much.
All right. And I will let you know if this saved. And if it didn't, I will do it again tomorrow. All right.
If not, yeah, hit me up. It's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Thanks ever so much for your time. Hope you have a great day.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay. That was 50% of Death Pigeon. Um, I don't know what song. This tune in Tuesdays for Band of the Week, Wednesdays for the playlist of the week, and tune in Saturdays for new interviews. And keep an eye out for cake delivery videos. And thank you guys again for supporting the Cake Lady podcast. And this is Food Will Stretch the Flesh. Food will stretch the flesh.